Now to the opposite end of the spectrum, Timmy Legler, and that would be the Lakers taking on the Nuggets. Anthony Davis in the lineup. LeBron James was not. And here's AD showing you some things only he can do.
Well, it just makes you wonder what this would have looked like if he had been healthy all season. But AD, and he was gipping around a lot throughout the game, still looking at that foot a lot, but still very productive.
Russell Westbrook right before the half. We haven't seen a lot of that this year. He just always does look better when LeBron's not out there. Westbrook would finish with 27 with the Lakers down one at the half, and then the second half belonged to Nikola Jokic.
It did. He's one of the smartest players in the league, one of the most dominant, and there's really no answer for him on that end of the floor because he can score from anywhere on the court.
And he can give it up to teammates like Will Barton, who would knock that one down. Barton had 25. Jokic, 38 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists. His MVP candidacy is very much in full effect. But the Lakers may very well now really be done. With that loss and a San Antonio win, the Lakers find themselves 2 games back of the Spurs for the final play-in spot. And I would add, functionally, it's even worse than that because they lose the tiebreaker. Here was Anthony Davis afterwards, Legs. What you were talking about, knows it is all but over and what could have been.
There's no moral victories in this league, especially with us. The whole world want to see us lose. I think the biggest thing that I think about personally is what we could have been. If we stay healthy all year, what could we have been? We put this team together. We look really good on paper, but we haven't had a chance to reach that potential with guys being, in and out of the lineup. So the most frustrating part about, this season is just not being sure of what we could have been.
I will remind you that when the season began in Las Vegas, the Lakers were the favorites to win the Western Conference. This obviously has been anything but what they imagined. So if we are pointing a finger of blame with maybe the final nail going in the coffin yesterday, who do we point it at?
Well, the top of the list has to be injuries. You have to start there because clearly that's what derailed their season, but it's also roster construction. The pieces didn't fit. Russell Westbrook really never got into any sort of rhythm playing alongside LeBron James. And then even when you look at the supporting cast, they went very old. They went with veterans, and when you do that, there's less emphasis on the regular season. There's just no way you're going to get a group of veterans to buy into an 82-game regular season, meaning that much. They assumed all along if they were healthy and they had 3 star players, no matter where they ended up in the seeding, they could make a run and get all the way to the finals and win a championship. Unfortunately, this thing just got out of control here in the second half of the year. And defensively, really, there was no culture there whatsoever because you can grind your way through injuries if you have a culture of getting stops and getting in people and being physical. That wasn't the case for the Lakers. People's eyes lit up when they saw the purple and gold jerseys in front of them. They just couldn't stop the ball. There was no rotation at the weak side, no rim protection. You could do what you wanted to against the Lakers. And ultimately, with the injuries, that's what took them down. And it's fitting we have white collars on today, Greeny, because we're going to administer last rites to this team. We're this close. And I don't have a dog in this fight.
Right.
If the Lakers are in it, it's probably better for us and what we do and what we talk about. But it's almost over, and we've been friends for 20 years.
Yes.
That will come to an end if you ask me one question about this team once they're officially eliminated. Once they're officially eliminated. Not yet. But it's close. And once it happens, I better not hear that word out of your mouth.
Then let me sneak one more in while I've still got you here. And that is, assuming, look, they have 4 games left this year. I think it's Phoenix, Golden State, Oklahoma City, and then Denver in that order. Let's assume they don't make some sort of miracle last run here. Do they need to trade Anthony Davis if they are going to try and put together a championship team around LeBron in the short term?
Well, they are absolutely going to explore that. Now, the question is, getting a buyer also. This is a guy that's hurt a lot. He's at a different stage of his career. And everybody wants to trade Russell Westbrook, too. Well, that's not the easiest thing in the world either when you make $40+ million at this stage of his career. So, yeah, it's easy to say that. To actually make it happen is a different story. Look, if you can sit there and let your mind wander for a second and think about if the guy can stay healthy, if LeBron James can be healthy next year, those 2 guys together, you remake the supporting cast, are the Lakers right back in the mix again? That's what I think they tend to think. We'll see, though. But I think everything is open. They're probably going to look at Frank Vogel, too, which I think is completely unfair based on the injuries and the roster construction he had nothing to do with. Frank Vogel knows how to coach. He didn't forget that in 2 years. They just won a championship. But they're going to look at that as well. And he might end up being the fall guy. And, again, I think that would be completely unfair.
But the likeliest scenario is that he is not the coach anymore, yes?
Very good chance, yes.
Yeah, it feels that way. All right. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.